You airheaded black feminists are going to more than likely scream bloody murder and call me all sorts of black women bashers after just reading the title of this video. But you sisters with common sense will listen to what I have to say. A woman's validation and acceptance is only credited as they show the family and the village that they are sworn by their maternal duty as mothers to carry the lineage of their people onward and make sure that their culture is preserved and kept fresh for future generations. Now, what do I mean by this? When I was growing up, whether I was in my own home, my neighbors' homes, or other relatives' homes, you would always see old black and white photographs that were 40, 50, and even 60 years or older of ancestors who had passed on because those older black folks who were not that far removed from the time period of chattel slavery and who had also lived a great portion of their lives through Jim Crow felt that it was very important and necessary to keep photos, mementos, and keepsakes so we would never abandon our heritage. I can remember as early on as 4 or 5 years old staring at some of these old photos and my grandmother, great aunts, or others would wrap an arm around me and say, "That's your great uncle such and such. He was a Pullman porter back in the 1920s and 30s. That's a photo of your grandfather and his little brother when they served in World War II. This is your great aunt who owned her own seamstress business." And as a child, you would see these images of people who looked just like you, and you would hear legendary stories about them. And you would say, you know what? I come from something. And it was through this inheritance that you were proud of your family. You protected that family even as a little kid when you got in silly squabbles on the playground. As you got older and became a bit more mature, this carried over to pride in your community when you and others who you grew up with together and formed tight bonds with would look out for one another in high school and make sure that no one came through your neighborhood looking to specifically start trouble and take from your families. And whether you stayed in that community or not, when you were all grown up, you took those core values with you wherever you went and implemented them into the families you started. And you must remember that although men more than likely taught you fighting skills and self-defense techniques, the burning desire to fortify the community was heavily inspired by those women of previous generations and time periods who sought the validation and protection of their men by holding their culture in high regards because they wanted their male offspring to grow up and become protectors of the community. Today in 2014, this black woman is no longer valid. And she is not valid because she doesn't apply the two basic principles which I mentioned that have always made women dear to their nations. Those principles, once again, are making sure their lineage prospers and preserving their heritage. The black woman of today does not care about her family's lineage because she does not seek the moral approval of any men in her society because she foolishly believes that she can do no wrong and the only being that can judge her is God. This backwards ideal is spread across the spectrum of the black community by black churches and religious leaders, black professors and teachers throughout academia, black celebrities, athletes, and all who work in the world of entertainment, as well as everyone else that works in a segment which make up a society. This message is driven even further through every form of media, be it literature, artwork, film, video, radio, television programming, advertisements, you name it. This spoon-fed marketing has left black women bloated with conceit. Today's black woman does not care about her culture and making sure the legacy of her heritage lives on through her children because she is more concerned with feeding her glamour-induced state of mind. You will not see any classic photos of family members and loved ones in picture frames on the wall or sitting in living rooms at this woman's home because she is too busy taking selfie pictures of her damn self with her titties and ass exposed for the world to see on Facebook and Instagram. She ain't passing no recipes to her daughters because she does not cook anything herself unless it's something she can toss in a microwave. And even then, she feels that stepping foot in her own kitchen is a form of oppression, whereas the women of the past were prideful about their kitchens. This new millennium woman will not enrich her children by teaching them about their elderly relatives and ancestors because she's too busy telling her sons that their daddies ain't shit. That is why her sons walk around expressing such manic depressive behaviors with bags under their eyes from years of sleep deprivation. That is why they roam around with pants sagging off the back of their ass, letting everyone in the world know that they have given up. That is why he will name his debut rap album, Ready to Die.
Ready to die while I act that way. Pop Duke left Mom Duke, the faggot took the back way.
And he will fill every song with tales of how he helped destroy his community, instead of songs with inspiration and hope.
Wake up, everybody, no more sleeping in bed. No more backward thinking, time for thinking ahead.
And black woman, you are so clueless that you don't realize that his gangster rhymes are a call for help.
I don't wanna live no more. Sometimes I hear death knocking at my front door. I'm living every day like a hustle. Another drug juggle. Another day, another struggle.
Black woman, you are so lost that you don't see that when he calls women bitches and hoes in his songs, he's subliminally talking about you.
I feel the world's against me and the women are so dirty. I hate women today because my mama used to hurt me. I think I'm going crazy, Doc, no longer can I hack it. Please, doctor, please put me in a straight jacket.
Every time he plays that new stupid prank where he sets himself on fire in the shower, he is masking his suicidal pain through jokes. No different than when Richard Pryor did it in the 1970s, when he told stories of winos, bootleggers, and all the tricks who would pay to have sex with his mother at his grandmother's whorehouse.
I lived in a neighborhood, a lot of whorehouses. Not many candy stores or banks. Liquor stores and whorehouses. You know, niggas love to drink. They say. No, I went through like white neighborhoods, you have banks and shit. You have to go 4 miles to get some liquor. Niggas can get liquor and just walk out the house. Oh, hello, this is a liquor store. Yeah. And I remember tricks used to come through our neighborhood. That's where I first met white people. They come down through our neighborhood to help the economy. Nice white dudes, though, because I could have been a bigot. You know what I mean? I could have been prejudiced. I could have been prejudiced. I could have been, man, but I meant nice white man just coming. Hello, little boys. Your mother home? I'd like a blowjob.
And you must remember that he too set himself on fire in the early 1980s. And see, black woman, Pryor represented the beginning of many of the things we see in our society today. Because when he was doing his comedy on stage and recording records, people listened to them secretly in the privacy of their basements. Today, all one has to do is walk out of their home and do an early morning yawn and stretch before hearing someone driving by playing music that tells you that you are a bitch, skeezer, hoe, sack chaser, thought, or whatever new term the youth of today use to describe their own mothers, because they have no respect whatsoever for you. And why should they, when you have shown them over the last 20 years or so that you embrace the degradation? 3 years ago, I was asked to film an underground hip-hop event out in Baltimore. And one of the youngsters that was performing was doing your normal modern-day rap about how he was knee-deep into criminal activity and had no love for the bitches and hoes. And after he was done doing his song, he did something that totally amazed me. He paid homage to his mother, who was standing in the middle of the audience, clapping and cheering this madness on. I know I don't have any more stage time left, but I just want to give a shout out to my mom's real quick. That's her right there. She inspired me to start my gangster rap career. And this sadly would not be the last time that I saw such ignorance. In fact, if you look up my old video, Wherever Single Mothers Go, Crime Follows, there is a clip of murdered rapper Little JoJo's mother on stage while her other son is rapping with a cup of liquor on stage, looking like a groupie who can't wait to get backstage. And this is why you are no longer valid, black woman, because whenever a group of women refuse to seek the validation of men and they begin validating themselves, or worse off, only accepting the approval of children, it is an absolutely pathetic attempt to repaint and recast an illusion of success over obvious failure.